actually like before we hopped on here, I was like, when did you start? And it was in March 2025. So you've been with us for over a year.
Hmm.
And I guess I want to start by like taking you back to that place, right? March, you're thinking of joining. We have this chat. Like, where were you mentally like before you joined with us?
Yeah, I think for pretty much my whole life, I've always been very active. Going to the gym has never been a problem. I was a fitness instructor. I taught classes. I'm always very accountable to myself. That was never the issue. But I was spending so much time in the gym, and I just was like, why don't I look like I spend all this time in the gym? And I just feel like all my hard work wasn't paying off in the way that I wanted it to. And I just kept seeing you post things about I just kept seeing you post things about Get Sculpted, and I was just like so drawn in to the results and to everything that you were teaching. And I was like, okay, like I feel like this is what I need to do to finally get the results that I've been striving to get. Um, so yeah, so I was just so excited to like jump in. I think for me, joining a community like Get Sculpted, like some people need it for the accountability, the
Mhm.
community, obviously for the workouts, the nutrition, like everything. And that's what's so great about it. For me, it was like I never have to worry about accountability for myself, but for me, I just wanted to do the program properly to be able to get the results I wanted. And I just kept hearing about like reverse dieting and like recalibrating your metabolism. And I knew that these were all things I needed to do. I just didn't have the tools or the knowledge to do it on my own. So I knew that joining this group would help guide me in that direction so I could finally get to where I wanted to be.
Yeah, and what you're describing is like what so many women are in, and that's where I was too, right? Like I also taught group classes, and it was like you're already motivated, and some people do need motivation, and like you didn't need that, but it was the strategy, and like props to you because you obviously realize like, hey, I just don't have that in place, and like you don't know what you don't know. So do you remember by any chance like if it was it like one post or was it like a general thing that I was saying that you were like, I feel like I relate to this?
It was just over time. I just kept seeing the posts. I just kept hearing your messaging, and I was just like, it just more and more just like kept sinking in with me and resonating with me every time I would see something. I think it's like that saying, right? You have to see something a few times before you actually take action with it. And I definitely felt like I was finally at a point where I'm like, okay, I just need to book a call and like learn more because I really feel like this is definitely something I want to do and move forward with.
I love that. And then okay, now we're fast forwarding like when were those early wins if you can remember? Like what when was it that you were like, okay, I feel like this is working?
I feel like right off the bat, like obviously, most people, myself included, usually have to do some sort of cut to shed some of the fat so we can get to almost like a baseline so then we can really start building the muscle and start to
Yeah.
see that result. So for me, obviously, I was super committed. It's like, give me a plan and I'll follow it to a T. So I started to shed that weight and that fat loss right away. So seeing those initial wins obviously keep you motivated, right?
Mhm.
And then I got to a point where I was like feeling really good. And then it was like, okay, moving into that next phase where we're just gonna like build muscle. And for me, it's like, give me
Mhm.
that booty. I want to build that booty. Help me figure that out.
Yeah.
Gaining muscle does take a while, and you're in it for the long haul when it comes to something like that. But I have stayed, fully committed to that. And yeah, starting to see some of those muscle gains and excited to do another cut so then I can see even more of the muscle gains as well because they'll show off even more at that point.
Well, you're totally speaking my language. And I'm glad you're open to it. And I think that that's why you've been so successful is because like, yes, it feels good to be lean, but it's what comes after. And the fact that you were already like in that headspace coming in is really important because you knew like the magic is in that reverse diet. Like you said, like you already had that in your mind. And what a lot of women do is like they just think if I get leaner, I'm going to look better. And that might be true, but it's also like you're going to look way better and feel better when you build more muscle. And that is a long process, like you said. So, did you have any like fears or like things come up where you were increasing your food and you're like, is this like, oh my gosh, this is new territory? Like, what were the feels going through that calorie increase?
I really am trusting the process the whole way. And Lindsay, my coach, she's been really amazing. So yeah, it can be a little scary when all of a sudden you're like upping your calories and you feel like you're going to gain weight back. But having that support and someone to guide you and someone to reinforce the fact that, you need extra calories to help you build that muscle. And at that point, too, my metabolism had recalibrated a little bit too. So I was able to eat more calories and not gain that weight back. And that's like the sweet spot. That's where you want to be. You want to be able to eat all the food and not gain the weight. So just having someone guide me through that, that was really key for me.
That's a good takeaway is that like, do you feel like if you were kind of self-navigating, because have you done a calorie increase before this, like before working with us yourself?
No, I was always afraid of doing a calorie increase. I think for me, sorry, someone just give me 1 second. Someone's
That's
just at
okay.
my
Yeah, no
door.
problem. We can edit.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay. So calorie increase you have not done before intentionally.
Yeah, I've never done a calorie increase before. Like that was just always scary to me because I always just felt like I was going to gain weight. That's when I always knew I needed the support doing it. I've done cuts on my own, and then I've always wanted to do the reverse dieting, but then that's where I kept getting stuck. And so I kept losing, gaining, losing, gaining. And that's where I kept seeing that pattern when I realized, okay, if I want to get serious about this, I just need to find someone who can help me do this properly.
That's a good mindset because that's what a lot of women do, right? It's like, and also when you don't have the strategy together, that's a good takeaway. It's like, yes, you increase the food, but like, what about the training stimulus? And like, is that where it needs to be? And is it the right workouts? And like, yeah, props to you for not wanting that guesswork and just following the plan. Like, that's the best place to be when you're in that headspace of like, I will do the work, but I need the right thing to do. So obviously, Sharon, you look amazing. Like you have the abs, you have the legs, the booty, the back, all of it. But what would you say are the biggest wins that you've had? Like even in your day-to-day life, like how have things shifted for you over the past year?
Yeah, I would say things have shifted me. Yeah, I'd have to say things that have shifted for me are even my relationship with food, and not, I don't have cravings like I used to, but I also don't have the guilt like I used to when I do indulge here and there because I know
Mm.
that's not going to be the normal. I'm going to have this and I'm going to enjoy it, but I know that I'm not going to keep eating that over and over and over again. So it does allow you that space to be able to enjoy those things. Um, I also feel like my relationship with the scale, you're so focused on weight all the time,
Yes.
but it's so much more than that. It's about how you feel in your clothes. It's about measurements. It's just about energy, and just feeling good overall. So just being able to have those mental shifts has been really key for me. Um, and yeah, just overall, like more energy, just like feeling really good in my body.
I love that. Like sometimes you don't know how good you can feel until you feel your best. That's how I always describe it, right? Like you weren't someone who came with a ton of weight to lose. And I think that's important for people to realize. So I guess now it sounds like you're doing the same stuff, but you feel better doing it. Like, is that kind of where you're at?
Yeah, I think I know I'm doing it properly this time because I've had the coaching, I've been taught the education, so I don't feel like in my own head, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I doing this right when I've tried to do it on my own? So just
Yes.
being able to have that just makes me feel more confident in everything that I'm doing.
Yeah, like you feel confident that you have the right strategy with your training and nutrition. You mean
Mhm.
and like your lifestyle. And like now, I guess if you think about like, okay, you're going on your vacation now, let's say it's a last minute trip. Like how are you feeling now when you're in that bathing suit?
Yeah, I've gone on quite a few vacations during my whole experience with Get Sculpted in my program. And I would say the first time I went away is much different than the last time I went away, just because
Mhm.
I know what to expect from myself when I come back, what that all looks like. So, the first time I went away, I was like, oh no, how am I going to do this? I don't have access to do my workouts like I normally do, even finding food. I'm going to be eating out a lot. Like, how do I navigate that? So just having the tools on how to do it while you're on vacation and know that it doesn't have to be perfect was very inspiring to me because I didn't feel
Yeah.
like, because I am very much someone that likes to do it and I like to do it right and I want to do it properly. So to give myself that little bit of flexibility to know that it's okay to be a little kinder to myself, to just be nice to myself throughout that process, was okay. And then coming back from vacation, it is, you are away, you are outside of your norm. So,
Yeah.
there is going to be that influx on the scale sometimes. And I think for me, that was like really scary. And then my coach kept saying, most of it is just water retention. It's just, flying and eating some foods that are maybe higher in carbs, and that all contributes, and sleep and all of that. So, having patience with myself when I got back and allowing, about a week to go by and then realizing, okay, I'm back down to where I used to be. It wasn't fat gain. It was just my body getting back to kind of its baseline. And so then I knew what to expect the next time I went on vacation, and I was able to relax a little bit more.
Yeah, good. I like that because you're someone who does work hard, like you said, like you always do. And sometimes for people like you, and I could relate to this too. So you and me, it's like learning to let go as well. And like also zooming out and saying, like, this is a week in time, right? Like it's not going to make or break my progress. It's what you do before and after that matters the most. So it sounds like that was your big mindset shift of like, hey, I don't need to worry about not having full access to a gym or the scale fluctuations or like these foods. And like that kind of makes you enjoy the process more, right? Because you're not so worried about just that moment in time.
Yeah, it's like a blip in, the bigger scale of life, It's really not that big of a deal when you really look at things from that angle.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So if you could go back in time, like let's say, like, to when you first started, like the beginning of 2025, right? To like your mindset where you're at now, what would you tell yourself back then?
I think if I could go back now and talk to myself a year and a half ago, I think just really trusting the process, and just even if things feel uncomfortable along the way, to know that it's all happening for a very specific reason. And yeah, to trust your coach, to trust the process, that they're guiding you to where you need to be. Even when the calories increase, just having that reassurance that it's all happening for a purpose, and for the bigger picture of things. Even the scale, I was so focused on the number on the scale before, and now being able to let go of that more and focus more on how I'm actually feeling in my body, how strong I'm feeling, that matters way more than what the scale used to say.
Yeah, I love it. And it's all the mindset shifts. I don't think anyone you can like read about this kind of stuff, but until you're in it, I find you don't really you don't feel it. Like I know the first calorie increase for anyone listening to this, it's always going to be scary, even if you know it's the right thing. And having that coaching is key because you have someone to tell you that it's normal and like what to look for. And like you could trust that you have the right guidance. Awesome. So last question for you, Sharon. Like if someone is watching this right now and sitting on the fence about changing their lifestyle and like implementing the Get Sculpted lifestyle, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say, if you're considering doing the program and you are committed to yourself and you want to make a huge lifestyle change for yourself, you just got to get started. Like, book
Mhm.
that call, have that conversation. The community is amazing. It's just, I think for so long we put things off. And why? Why not start
Yes.
today? Why not start making changes right away? And if you know that you're committed, you know that you want to feel better, just start. Just start right now, and you won't regret it. You have a great team behind you who's going to support you every step of the way to make sure that you're going to get to the goal and the 2.0 of yourself that you want to be.